warm welcome back. You're still watching Beyond Logo. She is the Taj and she is undergoing a major metamorphosis. In a move that involved fundamental restructuring, Taj became a part of 3 other brands. This is our half hour with Lulu Raghavan.
The evolution of the Taj, one of the best known brands in the Indian hospitality industry, is fascinating. And today this brand journey is a case study at the Harvard Business School. So how did the Taj evolve? Well, over the years, as new segments sprouted within the hotel industry and Taj expanded across categories, it realized that having one umbrella brand wasn't enough. Even within cities too, there were different markets requiring different brands. South Mumbai, for instance, could have a different appetite for hotels as compared to a hotel in suburban Bandra. The old Taj, one of the landmarks of the city, was far different from the much closer present. If there was a lot to shuffle with within, there was also the competition to look out for, like Taj Hotel's managing director Raymond Bickson mentioned. Global rivals were also swiftly moving in. Over the last couple of years, almost 50 brands have either entered or have decided to enter India. Most of them have multiple brands. For example, Starwood and Marriott have 23 each. So, for the team at Indian Hotels Company, a carefully thought out multi-brand strategy was the need of the hour.
It's quite an interesting thing if you look at our mega competition, global competitors, Starwood, Marriott, Hyatt, Intercontinental Hotels, who have a stable of brands, some of them from 8 brands to up to 20 brands plus. And how do you fit that in? Some people do it better than others. It's more challenging in a big organization. And it's quite expensive. And you really have to understand what the long-term value of that will be for your company and stick to it and have the patience to see it through.
As the Indian Hotels Company worked out its strategy, it also had a lot to learn from. For example, global hotel chains had managed to hook customers by offering a brand for every price point, and the Indian Hotels Company wanted to instill a similar loyalty in its customers. But it also realized over time that while it is easy to offer different price points, the finer details and the experiences are just as important. So if Taj offers formality and personalized service, Vivanta by Taj will be more relaxed. The Taj has, on average, a larger staff-to-room ratio compared to the Vivanta by Taj. The rooms at Vivanta by Taj will be smaller than Taj, and the public spaces will be lesser and the restaurants fewer. Meanwhile, the Gateway Hotel would typically have 1 specialty restaurant and 1 all-day diner. As for the price point, Vivanta by Taj is priced cheaper than a Taj hotel, and the Gateway Hotel in turn would be priced cheaper than Vivanta by Taj. But while these are the functional changes made, the company realized that this differentiation was a task that would have to be reiterated time and again.
We had our own, Taj Associates and our marketing team, and we tried to map the consumer for each one of these brands. And it's very clear that when we did that, we understood what the expectations would be of the brand. So we've done that as a major exercise, looked at all touch points, and across all touch points really tried to bring the brand alive. Just as an example, if you look at, say, Vivanta, the brand also dictated things like the verbal and visual idiom. And you know that Vivanta has a speak tonality, as also a special script that Landor has created for us. We have Vivanta music, music across all of our hotels. It's a very sensory kind of brand. So we have what you call Vivanta motifs, which really bring the destination alive in each one of these properties.
Creating a brand is also about taking care of the smaller, not so obvious things, and in Taj's case, it was as basic as the linen and even the quality of ink.
So if we pay major attention to minor details all across the properties rather, and at all times, I think then we know what truly luxury is. It's the difference between hand-knotted carpets and hand-tufted carpets, the quality of paper, the ink that the general manager uses to write and communicate to his guests, even the pen, I would think. So it's looking into these details that makes hotels truly luxurious and world-class.
With so much to cover, it isn't surprising that the bill was high too, but there is consensus that it is essential now. In fact, the man who pays the bills, the group's executive director of finance, seems to be as convinced.
A brand is sacred in a manner speaking. It's an asset that is not visible on balance sheets of organizations substantially. Most organizations do not necessarily value brands and reflect them as intangibles on their balance sheets. But I think it's an asset that needs to be respected, it needs to be nursed, because at the end of the day, the future of the organization is all linked to the robustness of their brand or brands.
And there's good reason why he's so confident. The company believes that Vivanta is going to be its big vehicle for growth in the days to come. This is largely because of how companies like it see the changing demographics in India and the changing spending patterns. In fact, the company believes that over the next few years, the numbers will bear this out as well, and the revenue mix, which is now in favor of the Taj, will shift in favor of the Vivanta by Taj and the Gateway Hotel. But even though hopes are high, Executive Director of Finance Anil Goyal says that getting there might not be that easy.
There was a need to pull the plug and remove a fair amount of the portfolio away from the umbrella and the shelter that the Taj brand provided to them historically and in the past. And the challenge was really to communicate to everybody internally within the organization, to our customers, to our partners, that by doing so and by removing a select part of the portfolio away from the umbrella brand, we're actually going to empower them.
And this is a challenge for any brand, especially one that is so dependent on the customer's perception of it. But the rationale seems right, and if the four-brand strategy does start working, it will imply that the Taj will be in step with its customers and her progression through life.
Time now to move into a short break, but don't go away. On the other side, Lulu Raghavan talks to the employees and external partners at Indian hotels.
What the partners thought, and maybe they will change their mind, and they have, is that can I retain my association with the Taj brand